You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Mob Wives After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Mob Wives After Show.
Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Mob Wives, New Blood After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV with over 75 million weekly downloads. We are your #1 source for after show entertainment, and I am your host, Erika Garcia Rojas, and I'm joined here with a full table. Woo! Yeah. Say hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Kev, you're just the weirdest man.
Which makes it great that he's here
and
talking about Mob Wives. Mm-hmm. Maybe that is why he's weird.
No, I love it because I love the show, but I always have to temper myself because I talk too much because I love it so much.
No, if you're not weird, you're not worth our time. So
true.
You're fabulous. And, okay.
Well, I'm Charlotte Broadbent. Hey, everyone.
And I'm Roxy Striar. Hello. Good to be back.
Yay.
For almost a final time. At least we have the reunion.
We have the reunion, so thank you for joining us for the next hour. We're going to be chatting and talking and dishing all about your favorite housewives, the Mob Wives, Season 4, Episode 12, Season Finale. And this season finale, I have to say, I know what I think about it. I want to know what you guys think about it. How about you tell me this? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of this season finale?
4.
The first half was about a 4. The second half was about an 8.
Really?
Keven?
What? You agree?
He can't give a number. He has to give an explanation.
That's what it is, and I don't want to have to
know.
go into one of my rants. But if we never saw the first 3 seasons, then I would say, what else do you want?
Yeah.
You've got like Psycho Jr., who is out there wanting to, very well could kill her. Realistically, no way made for TV. And then you've got, at the same time, the other girl who is facing prosecution.
Alicia, yeah.
But unfortunately, there are 3 other seasons. So when you have 3 other seasons, yes, it doesn't rank. I don't think it's as low as a 4. I think it's more of a 6 and 7. But again, if I didn't see those first 3 seasons, I'd say it'd be a 9 or a 10.
Right. So I think right about between the 4 and 8 that I did, you described the 6, which is what the total was. And when you're talking about
with an asterisk.
With an asterisk. But what you're talking about right now is like, how do you beat love? Tackling other people and like about to murder them. I mean, you're right. You can't really top that. If we hadn't had these other seasons, this was season 1, and this is what we saw. I think we'd all be like,
no,
to be
still,
continued.
Though. But the reality is, what this, I'm with Charlotte. I give it more of a 4. This show is because of what it is, because of the previous seasons, and you have to compare it with the rest of the seasons. And when you do, it just really doesn't compare.
And when you end a finale with "to be continued," I don't get it.
It was more confusing than anything. Yeah, when you sit here and you say, I don't get it, I actually don't understand.
Well, let's get into that later on. Let's start with the beginning, and we'll go through it and talk about the...
Erika!
We will... That's what the fans want, right? They like to hear us go through the episode. So let's start off with the beginning. I want to start off with talking about Renee's book launch. So she reveals during this episode that she's been secretly writing a kind of sex book type thing, that it's about her, but not really about her. So, and she's revealing this to the girls and reading them excerpts about it. And I know as we were watching it, we're feeling a little uncomfortable with her her reading the sex out loud.
Here's what I think happened. Yes, definitely feeling uncomfortable. I think last week we talked about, what is this lingerie party? What is this sex party?
It was
I don't know whether it was
Sexmas party.
Sexmas party. I don't know whether it was Alexis or Left Right or VH1, whatever it was. How this was edited was, I think that Sexmas party probably took place after Renee announced that she had this book she had been working on, and it was somehow a tribute to that, but we saw it in the week before, and we were like, where did this come from?
It was taken out of context.
Right, it was taken out of context.
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably happened after this, but they wanted the announcement and the big bash to be in the finale, so that's why we had it here.
Yeah.
If somebody were to sit next to me and read 50 Shades of Grey out loud, it would also make me cringe. I guess that doesn't, the movie might be a little uncomfortable if you went to go see it with like your grandma or something. But I don't know, there's something about her reading this book out loud to her friends that was like, Vicky.
Well, I think it's interesting the fact that she's writing a sex book in general. She talks about how. What do you have to say,
I know. I want to be called on.
Kevin?
To
What do
all
you
the
think
people
about
listening
it?
right now, they're like, what? Kevin just raised his
Okay,
hand.
but the YouTube viewers saw me raise my hand.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so, well, okay, so this was weird. Just telling you, as someone who's written books before, you don't go from a manuscript with yellow highlighter and a week later to a published book. It just doesn't work.
Right.
That way.
Well, the book actually technically is not even out yet. It comes out in April.
And at the party, she was still reading off the same sheet of paper. It looked to be.
Well,
that
no. It was a smaller sheet. It was like, I could get that. That was just a 2-page excerpt. But we did see a physical hard copy book she held up. Did you see?
Maybe it was just a prototype type.
It might have
thing.
just been a prototype.
Yeah.
I
For the sake of the show that they were filming.
Snooki did this. Remember, she did Back to the Shore.
Right.
And I always get, I could see her sister doing something fictional, and I know the sister was talking to Harvey Weinstein, Jen, about doing more fictional stuff, novels, and then being turned into soaps and more scripted series and movies and things. At least I had read that in interviews, but I always think it's a bit of a. It's generally been a total fail,
Right.
when when the reality people get into fiction.
I
You know
agree.
who- there-
Like, I don't think Snooki's book, you wouldn't call that a success, would you?
No, absolutely not. But
I'm a fan of Snooki, and I didn't even know she wrote a book.
Yeah, she wrote a.
Lauren Conrad, though, from The Hills, she wrote a few books, and they were actually quite popular.
But were they fiction? Because I know she also has written nonfiction as well.
They were fiction. They were
Okay.
made up. I believe they were fiction.
I think in the
maybe
case
not.
of Lauren, I'm meeting her a few times, but knowing people in the business who know her, unlike someone who just got famous and then went and hired a writer, she's actually talented. She's a talented artist herself. So she, in that case, I guess it would work and that's probably the prototype they're all basing this on then. That makes sense.
Right. It doesn't
So-
come out until April, though, and honestly, you can't knock it till you try it. So we will see. We'll hope the best for her, but I am very doubtful. I just
think with her,
doubt it.
with these guys, you stick to cookbooks. I think Renee has.
she is doing a cookbook.
And I
that's
think
launching.
advice books. I think Renee. We talked to her when we interviewed her. I was saying to her, I said, I think she really could speak to people who've lived that lifestyle, women who have boyfriends and
Like a
husbands in
self-help
prison.
book?
I think you speak just to that niche, a self-help book, but to that niche. Maybe she can't advise all women, but women who have been abused, but women who are trapped in that lifestyle. And think of how many that are, and as I said, people who have husbands in prison, brothers in prison, even dads who've been arrested. She could kind of speak to that crowd. And I'm just big into going for your niche, and I think that would be successful.
We know from speaking to Renee, she is very interested in helping other people. So that seems like a way more useful bit of her time than writing a book about
Right.
sex.
And she can help those people, I
Right,
think.
and she can.
I think she
so I
can.
think that's a really good point, Kevin.
And if she wanted to write a book, something like this, what I would think would be more interesting would be something that was actually based off of truth. I know this is loosely based off the truth, but her real life is actually very interesting. She doesn't need to make up any stories. And maybe she's not. Maybe she's creating a book around her life and people she knows, but she's not using their
I
names.
agree. I think something like Renee, the high school years. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you went back to that time and it was the Saturday Night Fever time, the disco era.
Yeah.
You could paint such an interesting setting. And I'm sure, even when they drove up to the house, I don't want to get ahead in the episode, but when they went to Big Angie's, the old party house.
And
And they were
started
talking about all the big parties back in
we're
the day.
like, what?
Right, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, imagine what those parties were like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just even think, you guys, the setting. It was probably the '80s, and it was very, very much Scarface.
Yeah.
So think about I would be interested in that. That would be compelling
I
to me.
would too.
I agree.
Yeah. So, all right.
Wow, Kev's got the book ideas.
Oh, that's why me and Renee, we're going to talk next time I see her.
That's why they pay you the big bucks,
That's
Kev.
why I get paid the big bucks.
All right. So then next we see Natalie coming into the picture, and the girls, Drita and Big Ange, have a little powwow with Natalie, basically wrapping up the end of last episode in which Natalie sends out that tweet. And Natalie saying she's defending Alicia by saying those things about Renee and hooking up with married men. So they're kind of giving Natalie a little piece of advice to say, stay out of it. Don't talk about it.
And Natalie seemed to back off pretty quickly, so I think that she understood. But what we did hear was Natalie said, you guys aren't looking at this whole picture. Renee was the one who started tweeting, has been tweeting all month. We knew something like that had to have happened, because when Renee called Alicia and was like, what is this that Natalie tweeted at me? And seemed like she had tweeted nothing. We were like, bull crap, you know, we know you said something.
Yeah,
that being said, it wasn't Natalie's fight to fight.
Yeah, something's instigated her to do that.
It wasn't Natalie's fight to fight, but I have a question for you guys. Do you think there was any truth to what Natalie said?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you think...
Absolutely. It wasn't denied hard enough, you know? Everybody, Drita was like, if it is true, which I'm not saying it is, typically that means that, oh God, somebody's coming to my door tonight.
Yes.
I'm screwed right now. I'm not saying that she sucked a married man's dick. I'm saying that I'm serious. I'm saying that there is probably some truth to the story. Maybe she made out with, or somebody wasn't completely divorced. I don't know what the story was. There's probably a story. Natalie probably didn't make it up out of thin air.
Listen, I wouldn't dispute it, but I think the point
But who
they were
cares?
trying to make was, Renee probably tweeted out or whatever, but that was almost like going nuclear.
Right.
In a war, it's like you try never ever to go nuclear. We've only done it once in the history of our world, because you just don't go there. And it was like to go there was crossing the line. Whatever they were saying to each other, it seemed like that was crossing the line.
Even
to go
if
that
it was
far.
true.
Well, and I feel like the point is that with Natalie being the new kid on the block and being part of the show and production that is Renee's and Renee's sister, to me it looked like they were saying to her, okay, Natalie, which makes me even feel that there was a little bit of truth to it, saying, all right, Natalie, cool it.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got it this far. There's no reason for you to get involved and to
what I liked, you guys? I liked that Drita and even Ange, we always talk about Ange as kind of always Switzerland. I like that they took a hard protective stance, because if you think about it, one of the things about the Mob Wives and the women in that area in the Northeast, especially the Italian women, they are crazy, but when an outside force comes in, they will stab and kill, no matter what their petty differences are. If an outside force comes in, they just will destroy. And I consider this Natalie and Alicia, even though they allegedly know them for a long time, I'm sure they do, but even still, Drita has known Jen and Renee much longer, plus the whole Mob Wives experience of those 3 seasons have bonded them. And I just felt like Drita was really pissed, and she was really being vocal, like, don't do that. And even Ange was kind of laying down the law for as much as Ange can. And I believe that, because that's what they're known for. Didn't you know?
Yeah, and I agree with you there in the sense that Renee and her sister Jen, they're like, and when it comes to this world of the show, they're the OGs. They're the guys in charge.
Right. Yeah.
They're the people that got everyone together from the get-go from 4 seasons ago. So, of course, I think Drita especially, because Big Ange, I think, has a lot going on. I think she has businesses and other places that she's getting an income. I might be wrong. I don't know. But Drita, it seems like, is and we talked about this too, like she's the breadwinner. She's the one making the money. And I think she's extremely appreciative of what Mob Wives has done to change her life. And you can tell by the way she has respect for Renee and the way she stands up to her. But I'm telling you, even you guys,
even without the show, those people, if any of you girls became friends with them right now, unless it took, like, you were friends for a year or 2 years or 3 years, if you were like the friends who they just met for a few weeks or a few months even, there's no way you cross one of them. They're all gonna. That's just that culture back there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. Now this could be editing, because they just were showing just a lot of reaction shots of Alicia or Natalie. They've just shown, but for a girl who is usually pretty bold, She was
yeah,
right. Didn't she
definitely.
seem like she was
I
respectful
agree.
of Ange and Drita? Because Drita would just
Yeah.
smash her. Like,
I think she partially knew she was wrong. And going back to your point, Kevin, before about how you don't mess with these girls as an outside force, I bet there are people at home right now thinking, well, it's interesting that Drita and Big Ange didn't stand up for Renee the first time around. But what I have to say to that is it's different because Renee was making an ass of herself
right.
at the time.
And it was delicious and
it was
whatever.
right.
But this was nuclear.
so
This
that-
is when you write
exactly.
on Twitter that a mother is sucking blanks of multiple married men is what it sounds like. That's where you got to
Right.
stick up for your friend.
Exactly, I agree. And so I think it's kind of like if Renee is doing her own thing and she's kind of making an asshole of herself, then everybody's going to look at her and be like, we're not going to be against you, but we can't really have your back. But the second it's 100% somebody else in the wrong coming after their friend, they're like, okay, this is where we draw the line.
Right.
Listen, number one, she's our friend. We're never going to have your back over hers, so shut up. And number two, like you were saying, Erika, this is our production. And I don't even know if they do have the authority for this, but they probably said, if we want you gone, you're gone. So get in line.
By the way,
Get in
if
line.
there are two people other than Renee who had the power,
Right.
we know from TV background that Adrita's Q rating, which is how much people love you, is through the roof.
Right.
She's absolutely adored, and we know Big Ange is
Has a spin-off.
Big Ange is an icon.
Right.
She's a cultural icon at this point.
They're
So
actually,
if there's two people on that show that can step up and say, "Listen, we don't have the here," it's them.
I am curious what you guys think because I had a friend text me the other week saying, we're doing this PR campaign, whatever, and we need the biggest person on Mob Wives. What's the biggest name on Mob Wives? What would you guys have answered? Who is the biggest name on Mob Wives?
Between Drita and Ange, to me, I would say.
I would say Big Ange.
You would say Big Ange? Mm-hmm.
I would
about
say
you?
between Drita and Renee.
Okay, so definitely one of the three of them.
I
for
would
sure,
say
yeah.
Big Ange just because she has her own spinoff of her own show. So she was popular enough to.
I think but go to Twitter. I'm pretty sure Drita trumps everybody.
Yeah, Drita
Or-
has the most followers.
But
That's
do you
what I
really
mean.
think that having the most Twitter followers has to do with being the most? If you think of
It's,
Mob
it's
Wives,
it's kind of an
Yeah,
indication.
in this day and age, kind of is, you know?
Yeah.
Twitter is it really says
And like
a
I
lot.
said, I've just heard from the Weinstein Company. I've heard from Left Right, and I've heard from VH1, three separate sources saying, Drita's the show. That is because of her popularity.
Right,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right. So now with Natalie and Renee, they do somewhat resolve their fight during Renee's book launch party. So Renee has this sexy book launch party with all these dancers. AJ's there. Everyone's there to support her. And even Natalie shows up, and Natalie says, "Oh, I'm so excited! I've got a secret for the girls. Can't wait!" And you're wondering, what is this secret going to be? Oh no, is there going to be a fight? What's going to happen? And then we see Natalie.
Charlotte's face is like, uh-oh.
That's her face when we were watching it. We see Natalie get up on stage in a little hoochie coochie outfit, and all of a sudden she gets a microphone and she starts singing a delicious song.
Delicious.
And then with the editing, you see all the girls
Delicious.
being like, oh my God. And we're all wondering, how is Renee going to react? Is Renee going to get up and just slap her across the face? Is Drita going to move her out of there? But no, the women all are very polite. Renee goes up to her, gives her a big hug, and was
Very,
very anticlimactic.
okay, so first of all, first thing we said was like, oh my God, you're such a narcissist to now make the party about you.
Yes.
Anyway, then you're antagonizing her a little bit. Should we even discuss whether she has a singing career or not, or was that just a joke?
No,
Or
I
was it-
honestly thought it sounded kind of good, which
know,
I
I-
hate to say.
Yeah.
But I honestly...
She owned it.
if-
I mean, it's not like,
yeah.
it's not like she was up there nervous or anything.
no.
like,
If Renee-
or doing karaoke. She was like,
Yes, she really did own it. First of all, if I was Renee, I would have been furious, and I would have tried to keep it cool, but I don't think I would have been able to do what Renee did. And second of all, if Renee had not been on the straight and narrow and had been drunk, my blow up.
also,
Totally
but I
different
think
story.
I offer this too. I think this is a little bit of fame having affected Renee, and affected her for something positive, because old school Renee
Oh yeah.
would have just torn her apart. Number one, because Renee's very dramatic. Number two, because what's her name was definitely making it about her and stealing the
Natalie.
scene. Three, she was somewhat antagonized. It could be taken where she's antagonizing her with the song. But four, Renee always knew how to make a good TV moment.
Yeah.
And she's kind of evolved, being like, you know what? I'm thinking big picture. I'm thinking I don't want my book to have a sleazy launch. I don't want to be the gutter girl.
Have a fight.
Right? Do you think that was going
think-
through her back of her head?
Absolutely. And when you talk about big TV moments, she's thinking, not only does this make a big moment for me, but it would make one for Natalie, and I'm not going to give her that.
And that's the thing. Renee has evolved.
Smart. That's
as,
Roxy, you're so smart.
I learned it from you, Kev.
Oh, yeah.
Renee's evolved through the seasons, as like you said, she's not the Renee
So
that
she-
we knew her
and so
before.
that's-
She went through rehab, and she's not going to stoop to that level.
And maybe not think about, okay, we're going to
least
have
not this
one.
week.
So instead of having one great episode TV moment, maybe she's thinking in the back of her head, I've already given several TV moments. Now this is about the bigger picture, which is business outside of the show. That's what I was thinking, where she held it together. And you're right, she would have only made Alicia a bigger star. Natalie, excuse me. But I wonder if it was even thinking that much. I feel it was more like, I think in the past, there have been moments where she's like, "Eff it, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put the pedal to the metal, step on the gas, because you know what? I know that creates great TV. It's her real feelings. It's not like she's made stuff up in the past, but I do feel like she has just
But
let
I think
it
she's
all
over
hang.
that now. She's
I
beyond
agree.
it.
That's what I think.
Yeah, she's beyond that.
But I don't think it's necessarily from therapy and things like that. I think it's from seeing, how can I be a brand? How can I sell clothing? How can I sell books if I'm going to be the crazy Stark woman who's going to rip this girl off the stage by her hair? But by the way, which would have been awesome. And it just sucks because I feel like we're not going to see that anymore in Mob Wives unless we get more new people. And I'm a little sad about that.
Yeah, I think Renee wants to be. I think Renee wants to be taken seriously. And the second she does that and fights, she's not going to be taken seriously with any of her businesses, with any of her business ventures, her books, anything. So
bring back love.
she's done. She's beyond
Charlotte, what were
that.
you going to say? I'm sorry. We're stepping all over you.
No, it makes me question what's happened behind the scenes with them, because the last time we saw Renee talking about Natalie was about the tweet, and I just don't believe that Renee would let it go that lightly when she was so mad.
I think because it was a public venue for her book, which would have totally gotten out, and I think she was thinking it would put a stink on the book.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
I agree,
be
but
positive.
I don't know if she's that. If
I
she
think
has
she-
that much
So you
I
thought
think
it was
she-
fake. You
But
thought she was
she's
fake?
sober now, right? Or
Right.
more sober. I mean,
Soberer.
I think she does have much control because she's not Love. Like Love would, from what we heard, Love was the one who had just zero control.
Yeah.
I kind of
That's why
have
they
to
had to
stop
let
you
her
guys
go.
for a second, though, and say, Kevin, you briefly just mentioned this, and we glazed right over it. You said, unless there's new people, you want new blood?
I mean, I liked Love. I like the mentor. I miss
You
the
want
fights.
old new
We don't
blood.
need fights. I mean, every week, but I liked when it went there. It was. Don't you guys don't miss the fights?
I just am
I miss
actually
them.
scared for these women that I care about. Like when Love's in the picture, I'm actually
Well, it
afraid.
doesn't
It's like
have to
I would
be
want
Love.
Junior on the show, you know?
No, I don't want Junior. Scares me. Love is scary, but I don't know. We a couple of guys with black T-shirts, like on Maury Povich, come out and take her away. I'm good with that.
I don't know.
But
I'm scared.
No, Junior scares me. That's a whole other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even
I
want
don't-
to talk about Junior on this show.
I know. I doubt he's listening to this after show because I can't really picture him just like sitting there paying attention on the TV. But if you are,
Don't be.
Junior.
But okay, wait. So there's no other after show that exists. So don't be surprised, or at least like
it's
people
not that
he
I don't
knows.
Think, it's not that I don't think if he
We
was
love
listening
you.
to an
Junior,
after
I
show
think
do
you're
this.
amazing. I really do. I can tell you all the parts.
No, we
I
know
love
that
when
some of the women listen
when
to
he
the
took
show,
on that
but
Irish guy in
him?
the Irish bar. Remember when he came in and stuck up for Renee?
Oh, yeah?
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
All right, so party's over, and then we see a little bit of Big Ange and Renee reminiscing about the old days, looking at a house. Lee is pressuring Big Ange to buy a house so that they can remodel it.
Neil.
and- oh, what did I say?
Lee, but
I did that last
I knew
time
what you
too.
meant, yeah.
I think more money. Translation. More money's coming in
Mm-hmm.
with all the new grandkids coming in. We know none of them can support themselves, so I think they're thinking about let's get the.
I
Make some
thought this
money.
was a really interesting story, and maybe it's just because I've been watching Mob Wives for so long that I forget things that happened in the past. But when Big Ange was talking about how her ex-boyfriend died and she didn't have enough money to keep the
Yes.
house, I felt really emotional for her, and I honestly. Maybe I knew this at one point in time, but I didn't remember that she had lost an ex and then was literally in this position where she wanted to keep it. You know, imagine if somebody that you loved was gone and they gave you something and you want to keep that as memorabilia because it makes you feel close to them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you can't keep it. Somebody rips it from you, you know? That's like almost what I imagined happening here, and that's so painful. And now she has Neil and she has another family, and maybe she's okay and maybe she's whole again, but it's gotta hurt driving by that house every time, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you never forget.
Right.
When someone dies.
And that's what I love
And the
about
good memories for them too.
Yeah.
For them, like that was their glory days.
Right.
But
Glory
through the grace of VH1 television, Electus, and everyone else,
These are the glory days.
exactly,
Yeah.
like they've been eclipsed, so it's made it a lot easier.
And that's what I love about Big Ange is that you know that she's lived a crazy life and she's gone through some really hard times. But the way she lives her life now and the way she approaches everything is with such a positive
Still positive,
attitude.
that's crazy.
And that's what I think is so admirable about her. She's not wallowing in the horrible things that
Nope.
happened in her past.
Not bitter.
She's not bitter. She doesn't have any regrets. She just has a great positive attitude.
Even
That's
the
what
way,
I love about her.
Even the way when she speaks about Natalie relating to Alicia being sentenced, it's still in a positive way. It's not, well, when that happened to me, all sad and down in the dumps. It's like, yeah, I dealt with it, and that's what she's got to do.
Yeah, she's definitely the friend you would call if you don't want somebody to be like, oh, that sucks. You want
Yeah.
somebody to kind of either give you a
Lift
little
you
swift
up.
kick in the ass or just be like, it's gonna be okay. You know, this is how it works. And
Which is why I think she's a great fit for the show because everybody else is so crazy and so all over the place, and she kind of grounds everybody and gives a good perspective.
I'll also add this. I feel like she'd be an amazing mother-in-law. What would you girls think if you had that as a mother-in-law?
yeah, if I was Gabby, I feel like I hit the lottery, especially. Gabby, you were the one who pointed this out. Gabby, when she finds out that Big Ange is going to be paying for stuff, and AJ's like, no, it's okay. Gabby's like,
Yeah,
Shut
AJ,
up.
we,
Her
we paused it in the screening
Yes.
because AJ's like, "What? We'll pay for the babies."
Gabby's
and,
like,
and you see it. It was no editing. You see her face. They go,
eyes.
no, we don't know what are you talking about, AJ. Shh.
And
Shut
I
up."
think she's thanking her lucky stars that she has Big Ange as a mother-in-law.
Well, let's talk about that scene. So then we see Big Ange with her whole family. So it's Lee's daughter who's pregnant, and
It's Neil's daughter.
Neil. Oh my God, he's
No.
forever gonna be Lee in my head. Neil's daughter.
I
is
only correct you
pregnant.
because for the people, but
No,
you're on it.
Thank you for correcting me. And then you've got Big Ange's son AJ and his girlfriend Gabby. She's pregnant. We see all of them getting together, and she's all excited. And then she breaks the news to Neil that she doesn't want to have a baby. So it's nice to see her whole family there. But yeah, we rewounded that one scene where Big Ange said, well, I'm going to support you guys. I have a family. And
Because AJ says, do you really need to go into work tonight? And she's like, yes.
and AJ's like, I can take care of myself. And then Gabby's face was like, no.
Do you guys know how many inner city kids that I knew that I see these mothers just work 3 or 4 jobs and they just be staying home playing video games and thinking nothing of it? Joe Gear.
Yeah.
What?
I believe it, though. I believe that she doesn't have enough money right now that they could be completely set for the rest of their lives. Like, when she's like, I have to go into work, and people are looking at her, and they're like, she's a celebrity. She doesn't need to go into work. The only reason she can upkeep this
Right.
life is because she is
That's
going
right.
into work.
You have to keep. You have to pay for the lifestyle.
you can't
because
just watch
all
the
those
show.
People. Look at those. There's 5 people that she has to support.
Right, exactly. And you can't just watch the show and think, oh, that must be dick in the soup, because there's no way she probably has a huge bank account. No, you know, if she wants to keep this lifestyle, if she wants to take care of Neil and Gabby and AJ and the daughter-in-law and all these people and then the grandkids that are coming
And then you know, if
college
you, and you
whatnot.
guys know from running. Some of you guys know it from the restaurant business. Like if she doesn't even just to even go in there and take the cash and go to the bank, you really think that someone's not putting their hand in the till if she's not there?
Drunken Monkey would be
But then
empty.
you do start to think about, though, what are the rest of the people doing to support themselves?
They all are. Drita has her makeup.
No. I'm talking about the
family.
And
family.
team Big Ange.
Team Big Ange.
Nothing.
They're
So
leeching.
that's
is
the
what they're
thing.
doing.
So they're all leeching.
Rooting her on.
And so Neil,
How's my
doesn't
leech
Neil
sound?
have some kind of business that he does?
No, wasn't he sanitation or something like that? I think he had like a city job,
yeah,
which
I actually
would
think
be
he is.
which would be great. I hope he does, because you know why? Honestly, why the benefits for a city or state job are fantastic,
Yeah.
and where Ange is probably paid as an independent contractor to do television, so you
Right.
don't get any benefits that way. She's self-employed.
You don't
at
think
the
she's
bar.
unionized?
No,
No,
hell no.
no.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Really?
No. You get no benefits from this. So the thing is, it would be nice if he had,
surprised.
if he does have, I thought he had a city job,
I thought he had a job, too.
which would be great. So then that's, because healthcare is, you guys all know, that's crazy. Like, so
Yeah.
it would be nice if he at least provides that,
Don't
Yeah.
we know it?
you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for
And-
anyway.
But
But all
it's
in
not
all-
him that I'm worried about leeching. It's clearly the kid.
AJ,
It's the kids.
that's what I'm thinking, too.
We can provide.
But I think that's why they're getting a big house, and and
Well, all in all, it does seem like
and a fixer makes good TV. That's what I'm thinking of is in her show. Maybe they fix up a house together. I know that's what I'd be thinking.
well,
if
it
I were
seems like she's
producing it.
happy regardless. That's the thing. And
She's awesome.
yeah, it
Well,
seems
she-
like she enjoys that role as being the caretaker, as being the one taking care of everybody.
She, like big aunt, big mama.
yeah. So
no one has any problem with smoking indoors, though, do they?
they were all
the
smoking.
cigarettes, no.
When
all
the
of
kids
them.
come.
I just like, even if you are a smoker, which at points in my life of you hear it in my whatever, I just think it's smoking in the house. It just smells and it's dirty and gross.
I don't like it, especially the two girls are pregnant.
Yeah.
They shouldn't
Yeah.
be smoking around them. But who are we to judge that? Anyway, so speaking of mothers and daughters, we saw a very sweet scene with Drita and her little daughter Giselle.
cute.
And Giselle wants to be a model, and it's just.
But does she?
I know. Is it, or does Drita want Giselle to be a model? That's the question of the scene.
I think that when you're a little kid and you're like, Mom, I want to be a ballerina.
I want to be an astronaut.
You know, I want to be an astronaut. Do this. I want to do this, you know? Yeah, Kevin, that's a better example. I want to be an astronaut. For your mom to be like, let's go get you into NASA. You know, like, that's what Drita's taking this to the nines. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. You know, you want to help your kids live up to their dreams, but I don't think this is Giselle's like, I'm going, you know, she's not a 15-year-old girl who's like, I have to be a model. She's a little kid. What does she know? But it is cute that her mom's helping her and all this stuff. And finally, when she feels comfortable, she is having fun with it. Drita doesn't seem like the psycho mom that's forcing this on her kid at all. So I do feel bad that when Giselle walks in, she's like, all shy guy over in the corner.
I do think what Drita said, there rings a little bit of truth to it, that Drita always wanted to be a model, and so she's vicariously doing it through her daughters.
But she did admit it, and so I thought that was cool. Where Drita's like, "Oh my God, you're making me look like that mother who's pushing you." But that seemed like the girl got into it.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
cute.
yeah, with the
It was
spins
cute.
and the poses. Are you kidding me?
She was
She's
adorable.
adorable.
You know, I kept
so
thinking is there's no gray in the selection process. It's black or white. It's either she gets the job because the mom's famous and it is Mob Wives, or she doesn't because a sponsor does not want the Mob Wives stink on their brand.
Right. Absolutely.
So anyway, I'm always going.
I'd be curious to see, now that you mention it, I wonder if she got the job or not.
I don't think they would ask her to audition if she wasn't going to get it because of the Mob Wives.
I mean, listen, Drita, if you were smart, you'd say, listen, you want the publicity,
Yes.
my daughter gets the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Exactly.
but then again, those are casting people, so I don't know if they're making the selection. I don't know, but you could see them. Come on, they're Mob
Well,
Wives.
and
They gangster shit. That's what you do.
And if Drita does want her daughter to be a model or a little actress, having her here on the show and in that little
Right.
audition process is huge.
I
So-
wish that my mom took me to little modeling classes when I was younger.
and had the whole world
Heck.
watch. All right, so we see one
chubby.
last scene with Natalie and London, who we've talked about in previous weeks. None of us seem to really care too much about that relationship, but we see that kind of get resolved in almost a negative way. Natalie announces that she's not moving to New York, and she puts it out to London to say that why don't you come move to Philadelphia, or why don't you make any of those sacrifices? And he's pretty much saying no. And then she's like, well, I want to get married. And he's like, no, no, no.
I mean, that is exactly what happened. I don't really understand. We don't know him well enough to know what she's seeing in him. It seems like he has very little to offer. I don't really know what's going on, but that's coming from a complete outside perspective.
But the show itself has not shared us anything to really like London. So I got the sense that we were supposed to not like him because they gave us nothing to hold on to, nothing to want this relationship to even work.
I just don't. I don't think that. I think it's all for the show. I don't think. And someone commented on YouTube last week saying they haven't been together for years because I guess we said that. And I don't think that far forward with their relationship. I don't think that they're that serious about it.
So you think it's all for show, pretty much.
He won't stop looking at the camera. I mean, you got to know it's for show. When London's like talking to her and he's talking like this, like as if I'm talking to Erika and I'm staring at you guys. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I don't care about him as much as they nearly think that I do. You know,
I feel like you want to say something, Kevin.
No, I feel like he doesn't. I feel like he just doesn't care about them.
No, I know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm a guy, and unfortunately, you girls hate hearing this, but like guys, just for some reason, we're attracted to just bitchy girls, and like I'm like, why wouldn't you marry her? I'm like, she seems like someone you should marry, you know. But but then I also tell you this, because she has money and because she is that boss, they often go for weaker men or losers because they don't want to be challenged. Yeah, you know, so I get that, but I get that if he is not the most, I don't know, if he's not the most successful guy in the world, like I'm saying, dude, really? Come on.
But you would think that if she's going for the weaker guy, then he would be like, yeah, let's get married.
You would think.
Yeah, I'll move to here, whatever.
Philly.
You would
I'll do whatever
think.
you want.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I didn't say he was weaker, but not as successful. So, you know, then he probably, and being not successful, who knows if he's still thinking, I want to play the field a little bit more. I mean, who knows? It's usually those guys usually think like that, you know?
And it's causing more, I mean, we're talking about it more that they're not getting married than if they were.
Right.
So that
And there's a kid attached.
Yeah, exactly. If they were getting married, everything was happy and fluffy, it would be like, all right, so the new girl gets everything she wants.
So Erika saw the movie Don John.
Don John,
And
yes.
what did you think of my comparison of the
With
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson
Johansson.
character to Natalie? What did you think?
It was spot on. She was exactly that kind of girl that's BMOC in her hometown. She's a hot girl, can get any guy she wants.
Say it again.
Big man on campus.
Oh.
BMOC.
I like that. I want to be BMOC.
You're born BMOC.
BMOC.
So if you guys haven't seen that movie, you should see it. It's a good movie.
To help you understand.
Don John,
Natalie,
Okay.
Natalie a little
yeah.
more.
But I just can't picture Natalie ever being Scarlett Johansson. Like,
No,
or
but
if-
Scarlett played this character.
She
That's
played
why
the character
Scarlett's
very
such a
much.
great actress.
Oh, she
just
is
when you see
fabulous.
this.
She played it.
John.
spot on.
Anyway,
All right, so that's done. I doubt we'll see any more of London in the future if there's another season with Natalie. And
I don't know.
next-
Wishful thinking.
Nah, it's done. It's done. Next, we see more of Renee, and she gets a phone call letting her know that pretty much Junior found out that she went to an attorney, and also that Junior was going to be released the next day. And so, of course, Renee's all freaked out. We see her really upset, and she just doesn't seem
So
happy about the situation.
what was confusing to me was Nikki calls her like this Nikki bitch. I'm
You're
just
not a
kidding.
fan of Nikki.
I just anybody who isn't on the Mob Wives, I'm like, who are you? But no, it was really good. Nikki called her to tell her something she needed to know. So that's what a good friend does. I was just confused because was Nikki implying that somebody told Junior? One of the new bloods told Junior.
She mentioned
Yeah.
Philadelphia. That's what it sounded like, that she was implying that either Alicia or Natalie let it out.
I think that they're getting tailed. I think these women are being tailed, and somebody is watching them because Alicia's secrets are slipping, Renee's secrets are slipping, and their lives are just not private enough.
Could be
Obviously,
anybody. Could be anybody from the crew,
Well,
anybody from the show.
exactly.
It
Anybody.
could be anybody.
I know. And
When you have a camera crew following you around
Yeah.
everywhere, knowing every single thing you're doing, I don't find it surprising that a lot of people are finding out everything, all their details.
I hope that's what it is, but honestly, guys, I would not put it past Junior to send somebody over there and check out what she's doing and follow her and see what she's doing. I wouldn't put it past him because honestly, he's sitting there in jail. He has so much time on his hands, and he just wrote her this letter that he wants to get back with her. I'm sure when she didn't respond or whatnot, he got a little paranoid and was like, is she seeing somebody? Somebody go tail her. So he sends somebody over. She drives right over to the lawyers.
so easy to get some dummy from
Some
the
dummy
neighborhood.
who will do it.
Absolutely.
And they call Junior and they're like, why is she going to the lawyer? And now he doesn't know why she was there maybe, but he knows she was there.
Usually, my experience with when you deal with the people who are stalking you is that they know less than you think and then more than you think.
Oh, yeah.
So but what's a telling sign for me is how much the mob has changed, because for him to have cooperated with the feds and ratted out back in the day, I mean, 15 years ago.
He'd be shot.
He'd be shot, or he would have to disappear. He would have been put in witness relocation. And
Right.
the fact that he can just, on a national show, just just now go on the offense, it just shows you how much it's changed.
Absolutely.
How much
and it's scary, and that's why Renee is very afraid, because maybe back in the day she would have been protected, but now I feel like she feels so nervous, and like she has no security blanket. And who knows? Maybe it was on Twitter, with social media and all the stuff
Who
these days.
knows?
That's what I'm saying. It could be anything.
yeah.
I mean, you're on a show
by the way, he could-
that's being filmed. There's a crew. There's a network. There's
They're
so
fans.
many people
And
involved.
he could be bluffing.
Yeah.
You went and saw. I heard you went and talked to a lawyer. Well, what else would he say? If
Right.
now you find out if she really is.
Right, absolutely.
It's-
She's going to bite herself in the ass because, like you're saying, if he is bluffing and now she's like, well, I did talk to her, and then she's just ratting herself out.
Regardless, he's still going to find out when this whole thing airs. If she really didn't want it to be known, why would she allow filming to be a part of it? It's like, come on, really? You're that scared? You're that surprised he found out?
Oh, no, I believe she's that scared. I think she's
She
that
sounded
scared.
pretty scared when we talked to her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not an act. She's that scared.
Then
think
why
so.
do you go so public about
About it.
everything?
That's what I don't know. If I was truly, I believe she's scared, but if I was really freaked out about somebody finding out,
think a
I
couple
wouldn't
things.
tell anybody, let alone let an entire film crew there.
Yeah.
I think a couple
So-
things are going on. I think number one, she goes back and forth in her own mind. Is me making this public going to keep me safe? Or, oh wait, who knows this? No, I can't. Nobody can know.
And furthermore, guys, what has going public done for her?
Well, yeah, exactly. So her
It's
whole
not
life was
so
public.
what is it? So, but let's
Furthered
think. What
her
are the-
career.
That's right.
Made
What
her-
are the
yeah.
results?
Made
the
her
result.
famous.
That's
She
right.
has her books. She
Right?
has her mob
Right.
candy.
So now we're asking this lady who's damaged and is in therapy and all these other things. Is she gonna know where's
Draw the
that
line.
shut off valve? Yeah, it's like, hey, you know
do
what?
what works
Every
for
time
you.
I've gone out and been open, honest, that's who I am. That's why my fans love me. That's why I'm famous, because I wear it, I own it, I lay it all out there. Couldn't you hear her saying all this stuff?
Yeah.
So, and that behavior's been positively reinforced. So now, why wouldn't she go out
Absolutely.
and do this?
Sometimes too, you're sitting there and somebody's talking to you and these directed cameras, and Kev, because you just filmed your show. I was
do
filming
I
a show.
know.
I was filming a show before, and they're sitting and they're telling you stuff, and all of a sudden you start spilling things that you're like, I had no intention on saying. Like, I was not going to say this, and they just somehow asked you the
you
right
start
question.
you start venting. You start
It's almost like
venting.
they're your therapist.
Yeah.
You never get to talk about it, and then all of a sudden you're talking, and you're like,
Yeah.
oops,
But that
like,
wasn't the case in this situation. She specifically had a scene where she went to an
No,
attorney.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
I'm
I
just
mean-
saying her life. Sometimes we look and we're like, why would she say that? Why would she do that?
Again, her drama. She's been reinforced for the drama.
Yeah.
Well, and
You
then
know.
you also wonder what's going on behind the scenes with her and her sister, and them talking about her storyline and all that. But
Yeah.
regardless, having said all that,
And I think you're right, Roxy. I could hear her saying, "Hey, you know what? What better way to keep him at bay
Than to go.
right? Because then he's going to know that everyone's going to be watching him."
that didn't necessarily stop him before
No,
from.
it definitely didn't. But I think the thought process
Yeah,
behind it
yeah,
is,
possibly.
when the police are looking to capture somebody, and they blast it all over the news because then if you see his face, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thought process.
Yeah, and if and that's why we watched the show to see this. And,
Right.
and if she
And
didn't
how
have the
about-
show, what would she
And
have?
Drita's advice: just shoot him.
Bang bang.
I look at you, Kev.
Bang,
I go,
bang.
that's the worst friend advice. To just shoot him dead, and you go, I think that's the best advice you could give.
Honestly, if he comes to the door, you have to.
If he does come to your door, it's
Because
you're protecting yourself.
here's why you have to. I don't know him, so I don't know what I'm dealing with. So I'm just basing this on some of the facts I'm seeing. But sometimes when people have nothing else to lose, like they get to that place.
Right.
So he's known as a rat. If he'll get pinched again and thrown in jail in a second if he even steals a piece of chewing gum. What he would have had, like Lee, was to walk in now and become Mr. Famous, right? He would have had that. Now he's lost that. If he's at his wit's end, and he's like a lot of criminals who are narcissistic and sociopathic. If he comes to your door, you gotta kill him because he's not gonna.
he's gonna kill you.
He's not going to stop.
Right.
He's used to getting his way. He's a big guy. He's a tough guy. He's rarely not gotten his way unless it's been with the police, and even with them, he's always found a way around it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't go out and hunt him to kill him. Like, she's not a killer, but absolutely arm yourself. Door opens, bang. Ask questions later, and let the judge, let a woman who's been terrorized and beat her whole life go and face a jury and
Yeah.
a judge. That's my advice. I'm sorry.
Bang.
And I'm
bang.
sorry, Junior, because I think you're awesome.
I wish that AJ would come out and say something about it. I want to know.
We don't see
I
any
would
more
give
of AJ.
anything to sit AJ down and be like, what's the deal with
I
that?
bet you he would say, my dad is X, Y, and Z, but my mom is also X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's
He's
what
very
he'd say.
pragmatic, so probably.
All right, so then we see the end of this episode, the end of
Did
the
we see it?
finale, and it pretty much ends on a cliffhanger. So Alicia, we do see her throughout the episode talking with her brother, going over a few things that would happen. You know, what is going to happen, you know, if I don't come home, here's all my things.
We
You're gonna
know
be taking
that she
care
could
of them,
lose millions
blah,
of
blah,
dollars and
blah.
go away for 5 years.
Yes.
We've known that.
But we
known that.
knew that. I mean, the good news is she didn't go away in that moment in time, which is what she was, the ultimate
But what
fear.
did happen?
Nothing.
All of our
And
fans are
that's the
talking about how
thing.
we all know she still hasn't been sentenced.
Yeah.
So it's like watching this to be continued.
Yeah.
It was, I have to say, this was a very anticlimactic last episode for the entire season, especially, and we talked about this at the beginning, compared to previous seasons where it has ended with literally a bang. I mean, it's ended with a fight, it's ended with blood and hair pulled. This ended with a to be continued? Really?
I don't understand when Alicia's sitting there and she says, Eddie's offered to take my fines, take my time, everything. So did she turn that down? And
Yeah,
she,
why wouldn't
and
you
how
let
does
her?
Probably
that
If
the
he-
job did, probably the judge didn't accept it.
yeah,
How
I'm
did you
sure.
do that?
And she's like,
Maybe.
but I have to pay my time. So did you do the crime? Did you just admit to us? Is that
Right,
the first time
yeah.
we heard you
That's what
say
it
it?
sounded
That's
like.
what it sounded like, that she was admitting it. But
This is getting more and more fishy, and honestly, I feel like they almost staged the entire of her going to court because her outfit, she was unprofessional looking, kind of sloppy. We see Natalie walk in. I'm wondering if they knew she wasn't going to be sentenced, so they honestly just shot as if they were going, and then they make the phone call.
Yeah.
The
and we're
fake
supposed to
paparazzi that
Right.
didn't look like paparazzi.
Right.
we talked about this when we were watching it, almost that entire scene seemed staged.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, I'd love to know for you guys watching it what you guys thought about the end of the season and end of that
Yeah.
episode. Did you think it was staged? Do you think it was real? I'd love to know what you guys all think.
Absolutely.
So,
That's the point.
Yeah.
We're a fan-based
So,
network.
YouTube, iTunes, right?
Yep.
Yes. Comments, message us. The
Subscribe,
reunion.
rate.
Reunion's
Quotes,
next
Five-star.
week.
Questions, criticisms, comments.
Yes.
Naked pictures. No, don't
No,
do that.
no, don't do that. No, none of that. All right, guys. So that's it. Unless we have anything else to talk about for this
Well,
episode.
I mean, other than the fact that previews for next week, we didn't really get much, but everyone's in black.
Oh, bad
Extreme
bitches.
close up, bad bitches, right?
Tears.
Yeah.
Crying.
And we've seen them. This is the best hair and makeup we've seen from these girls all season.
Yeah.
And in this, they didn't look so good. They looked really but they looked really broken up.
Yeah.
Harsh.
But this is what I don't know. Like, there wasn't, when in looking at that, I was thinking there wasn't so much drama that what could they really be fighting about?
Well, it
Except
depends
for
on when
maybe
they filmed
the Natalie
it.
thing.
It depends on when they filmed the reunion. We don't know if they're about to give us a lot of tea about what's happened. So I think that we could get some really good stuff. And luckily, at least it gives us another after show here because I feel like we've had the shortest season. I need to come back in and discuss more with you guys.
I know.
So I'm excited to do that.
I'm excited too. So,
And Roya quietly in the booth. Thank you for holding it down. But Roya, this is where you got to bring in some music, baby girl.
Oh, I was waiting for you guys to do your
We're
thing.
wrapping
being
up.
polite.
No,
Well,
don't be
Mars,
polite.
you can't be
Step,
polite.
no, step on these dummies.
My
well,
show.
thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Like we said, rate us, comment us on iTunes, like the video, like
5
us on iTunes.
stars.
And everyone, let's go around the table real quick. Where can we find you guys?
At Charlotte Broadbent.
At Roxy Striar.
Kevin?
At Undergaro. Sorry.
And I'm your host, Erika Garcia Rojas, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IamEGR.
And Roya, where do we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Hey Roya.
Woohoo.
And she did tweet out about our show, so we love Roya in the booth. Roya in the booth. Roya in the booth.
So we're happy, yet a little sad, since next week is going to be the last week. So hopefully it's a good one.
Hopefully we get some good stuff.
All
Bang,
right.
bang.
Bye, guys.
Bang.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, bitches.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.